A very good afternoon to all of you. I welcome you to this session, Nouns Made Easy. In fact, this is a series called Grammar Capsule, and today we have the first session of this series. So I hope all of you will go through various parts of speech with me and learn how to identify errors in these parts of speech, how to correct those errors, right? So that you attempt well in your CAT as well as the OMETs that are coming soon, right? So this session is relevant for all of you who are planning to take the MHCT, who are planning to take the CMAT, right? So all OMETs plus CAT, right? Okay, give me a hi, hello, so that I know that I'm visible, audible to all of you. All right. So today I have taken care to keep five options in your questions. Why? Because MHCT has five options, right? So even if you're preparing for, MHCT and you want to learn some grammar questions, this is a great session for you, right? Okay. So that's the agenda for today. We'll learn some concepts related to nouns. That's the effort that through questions I teach you some important concepts so that if you get errors related to those, you're able to identify them. Okay, good morning, Ashmita. How are you? Right. So, what is a noun? Yes, that's a question that we know the answer to intuitively. Yes, in our junior classes, we have read about nouns. So, give me a fun answer to what nouns are. Yes. Hi, Rishikesh. I don't want a textbookish definition from you. I'll give you that. You give me a fun definition of nouns. Yes. All right. So, remember that game name, place, animal thing? That's my favorite way to talk about nouns. So that game was actually meant us to teach nouns, right? They weren't telling us this, but they were teaching us through this game. And we used to think that we are playing a game. So name, place, animal, thing. When we name these, right? When we name a person, an animal, a place, a thing. So that naming word or that naming phrase, that is a noun. Right, so this is the textbookish definition for you right here. A word or group of words used as a name of a person, place, or thing. Okay, and when I say person, place, thing, so in person or thing, I have included animals also there. Right? Okay. Uh, Everything that we see around us is a noun. All right. CET, Pranav, this is very relevant for CET. In fact, grammar is something that is extremely relevant for your OMETs. Okay, so MH, CET, CMAT, this session is relevant for both of you. Okay, both of you aspirants. That's what I mean to say. Both the categories of aspirants. Right. So, all tangible objects, that's one definition that I got. But intangible ideas, for instance, beauty, is that not a noun? Yes, when I say beauty, when I say, let's say, sorrow, when I say happiness, these are also nouns. Okay, so, and what are these nouns called? You've learnt about it again in your junior classes. So, these ideas, these qualities, when we name them, they are called abstract nouns. Okay, this category has been called abstract nouns by grammarians. Okay, so we have, you know this, we have proper nouns, we have common nouns, right? And various grammar books say that common nouns have two further types, collective and abstract. Okay, the unique name or the name of a unique person or thing, that is called a proper noun, right? So, for instance, Taj Mahal, Buckingham Palace, Nikita, we are proper nouns, right? Common nouns, the name that is shared by a class of things or a class of people. So any wooden structure, any flat wooden structure with four legs, okay, that is usually called a table, right? And a number of such flat wooden structures with four legs will be called tables, right? So common nouns, they share that name. Collective, when I name a group, and abstract, when I name an idea, a feeling, a quality, right? So everything that we see around us plus everything that we just sense through our other senses is a noun. Okay. All right, perfect. Good, Ashmita. So this is what a noun is. We've just talked about the four types of nouns, but there are other ways to categorize them, and let us learn that through various questions today. Okay. Also, our focus will be on spotting errors. Our focus will be on seeing the usage of these nouns. So here's your first question. Tell me what should come in this blank. Yes, let's see. Five options because MHCT has five options. Let's see who answers the quickest. This is a 20-second question, provided that we know the concept. Okay, so Rishi says C. All right. Ashmita, Rishikesh, Pranav. Okay. A. All right. Others, I want more responses. Okay. E. A. All right. Okay. Fine. B. Okay. Okay, let's have a look. So the first thing that you should know about nouns is how to use them as singular and plural nouns, right? So nouns display this property called number. That is, we have a singular noun. So when we say table, that is singular. Then when we want to talk about a number of them, we say tables. Okay, so we usually, and I say usually, we add s or es to a noun to make it plural. However, there are many exceptions to this. So there are certain nouns that are plural by construction. वो होते ही plural हैं. That's what I mean to say. So cattle is one such noun. Cattle is plural by construction. When you talk about cattle, you're talking about many cows. So there is no such term as cattles, right? Cattle means many cows, right? Okay. Sheeps is incorrect because the plural of sheep chapter on nouns. And in the very first instance, in introducing nouns to you, it will first talk about the number of nouns. And there it will definitely talk about these terms that are plural by plural. So our answer is C here. Okay. All right. Now, coming to our next question. So we have learned one concept here about the plural. Okay. Let's see this. Let's see what you say. Again, a 20-second question. Okay, Anshuman says B. Rishi says D. Okay, all right. Hmm. So there are two concepts here. Masculine, feminine, that concept is also there. And of course, singular, plural is there. Right? So let's see. I want more responses. I'll not give you the answer before that. These are just one word questions, aren't they? Just two responses. Okay. What is the plural of deer? So deer is masculine. A male is called a deer. The female is doe. So we know that one deer is called a deer, one doe is called a doe, right? The plural of deer is D-double-D-R, deer itself. So the plural remains deer. Okay, so knowing this, I can eliminate this. Of course, this is incorrect. Okay, this deer means something else altogether. This deer is also eliminated. So three out of five options eliminated right away. The choice was between A and D itself. Okay, right from the beginning. So now, if you see here, we have does. Okay, and here we have as pets. So that means we are talking about them in a plural sense. Okay, here we have doe. Doe is singular and the plural here is does. So you see the feminine does not follow the same rule as the masculine. Okay, the plural of doe is does. It looks like does, but actually we mean to say does here. Right? So there were actually three concepts, in fact, not just two. Masculine, feminine concept, singular, plural concept, okay, and also common confusables, words that are commonly confused with each other. Deer and dear, right? Then does and does, right? So that concept was also tested through this question. Okay, so this was your second fill in the blank. Again, the main rule here was singular plural. So I hope that you will go back and you'll read a book, right? The chapters are really short chapters, okay? So you can just pick up a chapter on noun, number, and you will be through with all these concepts. Right. Let's look at another question, another concept. Let's see what you say. I understand, Anshuman, it's a common confusion, does and does. Om says E. All right. So I need quick responses and a lot of responses. Okay. Spectacles or glasses. All right, Ashmita. So that means you say E, right? Okay. A, D, others, E. All right. Okay. Okay. So I've got A, B, D, and E. C also. So I've got all the options now. So, spectacles and glasses both are correct. Spectacles and glasses both are correct. See, our spectacles are called glasses also. Now, these are incorrect. Again, spectacles is a word that is plural by construction. And another concept that is involved here is, see, these are things that have a plural identity. Have you ever seen someone wearing just one glass of spectacles? No, right? Nobody wears just one glass. So plural in terms of their identity itself. So can you give me some other examples of things that are plural in their identity itself? One is spectacles. What can be some other examples? Yes, tongs, chimta, which is called chimta in Hindi, tongs, right? Then how about binoculars? Yes. Hair is okay. Hair is a mass noun. Hair is something that we call a mass noun. Okay, it is in the category of a collective noun. I'll talk about here. I have a question on here. So, right now we are talking about a pair. Okay, so glasses, two. Tongs has two ends, has two parts actually. Right, binoculars, again, you would see it in two. Okay, what else? We'll come across some other examples also. I'll show you. So now, my tongs are missing. That's what I would say. These tongs are good, right? These binoculars are of poor quality. Are again. So these exist, they have a plural identity and they are therefore always plural. Okay. And they differ from, they differ from, let's say, shoes. Some students give me shoes as an example when I ask them about things that exist in a pair. But the point is that you do have a single shoe. Yes, you do have a single shoe. It has a singular identity also. But here, have you seen someone carrying just one glass and then using it? No, right? So shoe is a different affair altogether and it's a simple affair. Singular shoe, plural shoes. Singular earring, plural earrings. Right? Singular hand, plural hands. So that's the different concept. There they have a singular identity also. Here they don't have a singular identity. They are always plural. Trousers, scissors, absolutely correct. So I wanted these examples to come from you, okay, and they'll help you in the coming questions. Trousers, scissors, correct. So E is the answer here. C and D. Spectacle is again a different word altogether. Spectacle. Can anybody tell me what does spectacle mean? It is a word. It's not that it's not a word. The passers-by enjoyed the spectacle. Okay. As people were, as people rallied for party X, the passers-by enjoyed the spectacle. So, tamasha, right, is called spectacle. All right. So basically something, a scene that you enjoy. Absolutely correct. Correct. Beardo, weirdo. Absolutely correct. Right. That is a spectacle. And pair of spectacles. A pair of spectacles is correct. A pair of spectacles. I have a pair of spectacles. Okay, my pair of spectacles is missing. Now you can use is because now the subject is pair, right? इसमें आप singular use कर सकते हो, right? But in these, tongs are, binoculars are, trousers are, scissors are. But the moment you say a pair of scissors, then it becomes singular. A pair of scissors is required for the project. Is required. So that way English is a little tricky. You need to know these things. You need to learn these things. So now tell me what should come here. I think we've already discussed this, so no one should have a problem here. Okay. All right. E, B, D. Okay. All right. So now there is a flood of D's in the chat box. Okay, absolutely correct. D, Delhi is the answer, right? Scissors. We just discussed there is no such word as scissor. Chalo, spectacles ka to at least spectacle, there is a different word, isn't it? There is a different word that is spectacle, which means a scene. But there is no such word in English as scissor. There is no such word in English as trouser. Okay, that's a usage that I have often seen people using this word incorrectly. Okay, so trouser, no. Okay, scissor, no. Now, scissors is plural, so this no. Scissors are very sharp. Scissors being very sharp does not make sense grammatically. Okay, so we could say something like the scissors being sharp uh, were handled carefully by the Scientist. Okay, the scissors being sharp were handled carefully by the tailor. So this way of using it with being is correct, but here I need a verb. Okay, and this is not the correct verb, right? Absolutely, D Delhi is the answer. So now I think this concept is clear to you. Things that exist, they have a plural identity. Okay. Now, how about this? The dash is dirty and needs to be cleaned. So again, two concepts in this question. Okay. All right. All right. Okay. I absolutely understand your marking A, and in a rational world, A should be correct. Now, the thing is that, again, if you read grammar books, earlier a rule was observed. In fact, it is something that is still observed in your exams in case you have these two options, right? So the thing is that this is the possessive case of the noun, right? We are using fan as a possessive of blade, isn't it? Fan, car, blade. So this is called the possessive case of a noun, right? Now it is one fan. So of course it cannot be fans and then apostrophe. When would this be correct? When there were multiple fans. So first we need to learn this, that fan apostrophe s means that of one fan, whereas when we have a plural noun whose plural ends in s, then we do not add an apostrophe and again s, for the simple reason that it becomes difficult to pronounce. Fanzes. That's very tedious to pronounce. Fanzes. So that's why we skip this S. We just put an apostrophe. Okay. So now that this is clear and this is eliminated, even this is eliminated because I need the possessive case, fan, car, blade, right? Uh, and this is eliminated because of subject verb agreement. This says is dirty, so blades cannot come. We are left with A and D. Now, there a very traditional grammar rule says that, see, when I say Ria's pen, that is okay to say because Ria is a living being and therefore can own a pen, right? But when I say table's leg, let's say table's leg, so table ka leg, this is a table's leg, okay? But the point is that table is not a living being and therefore cannot possess or own that leg. That is a traditional grammar concept. And therefore, Puritans, who are Puritans? Very pedantic grammar people who would find your minor mistakes. So Puritans say that instead of saying table's leg, you should say the leg of the table, the leg of the table, right? So because fan is also a non-living thing and therefore cannot own or possess a blade in that sense, in the sense that a living being can, we should, according to Puritans again, we should say the blade of the fan, the blade of the fan, right? Therefore, D is the most appropriate if you are given this option in the exam. Okay. All right. Yes, yes, yes. This is something that you gather when you read a grammar book. Okay. Usually, if you are just reading some random rules off the internet, you will not get this. Okay. All right. Let's go to the next one. Let's see this again. Possessive ka concept. No, it's not really possessive. Okay, ठीक है. Let's see what the concept is. First, you answer this. Assalamu alaikum, ABC. Okay, let's see. Okay. B, E, C, B. All right. D also I've got. ठीक है. So that means A is incorrect. That everyone is sure of. Yes. Because of the verb are. So you see that subject verb agreement is also a concept very much related to nouns, because at the end of the day, what is the subject? Usually a noun is the subject. Okay, so a subject can be a noun or a pronoun. The subject of a verb can be a noun or a pronoun. So that is why the concepts of subject verb agreement, right? That if the verb is plural, the subject has to be plural, they apply very much to nouns. That's why A cannot be our answer. Now, tell me something. Is this a possessive case? Do the sisters they own something, or does the sister own something? Own something? No, right? It's not a possessive case. So sister-in-laws. This will sister-in-law's daughter, my sister-in-law's spouse, right? Then it is acceptable, right? However, here there is no such thing happening, so even this is rejected. Now, sisters-in-law, this is incorrect. This is grammatically incorrect. When you want to show possession, something belonging to the sister-in-law, the apostrophe s will come here and not here. So, ye to absolutely incorrect. The Again, the competition was always between B and C. So, tell me something. If you talk about multiple sisters in law, that's the only way I can say it. So law तो plural नहीं हो रहा है ना, sisters ज्यादा है, sisters ज्यादा हो रही हैं, plural हो रही हैं, isn't it? Law is not something that's becoming plural. It's not like she's your sister by many laws. She's your sister by law, right? And they are your sisters by law if you have many. So sisters in law. Okay, my sisters in law are coming today. So this is a common error. Sisters in law, brothers in law, right? And not brother in laws, right? However, when you talk about people to whom you are related by marriage collectively, right? In a plural sense, then you say my in laws. That is fine. Her in laws, his in laws. So in laws is then used as a noun to mean all those people to whom you are connected by marriage, related by marriage. ठीक है, आया समझ सबको this complicated phenomenon? This is sisters in law, brothers in law. So in such compound phrases, you have to be careful where you put the s to make it plural. Okay, now here's a question, a teaser for you. Should it be spoonfuls? Okay, I need 2 spoonfuls of sugar, or should it be spoonsful of sugar? Yes. What do you think? Okay, so this is A and this is B, all right, or 1, 2, whichever way. Let's number them 1 and 2. Okay. Spoonful, spoonful, Ashmita, will be used when it's just one. Then we say spoonful. Okay. So tell me, let's approach it logically. So grammar, I mean 50% of it at least is pretty logical, right? Sometimes it abandons logic, but quite a bit of it is logical. Now, you are going to fill 1 spoon only twice. That's the rational thing to do, right? When you are adding sugar to anything. So you'll fill 1 spoon twice. You'll not fill 2 spoons. So spoons would be used if you were filling different spoons or 2 spoons. Here it is incorrect. It is spoonfuls. 2 spoonfuls. एक ही स्पून को आप 2 बार fill करोगे to its fullest capacity. That is why 2 spoonfuls of sugar. Right? So good. 1 is the answer. All those who said 1, good. All right. Let's proceed to another concept then. Let's see what you say here. We have error spotting and sentence correction questions also. Let's first get through these fill in the blanks. Yes. Okay. E, D, all right, all right. Others? Okay, good. So there's consensus. There seems to be a consensus on this question that it should be D. All right, let's see if you are correct. Absolutely correct. I am happy. So I have discussed this in some previous sessions. This is a rule related to collective nouns, right? Now, collective represents the name of a group, right? So, for instance, jury is a group of judges, right? Family is also a group of people who are related to each other, usually by blood. Okay, usually, not necessarily. They can be related by law also. Yes. So, for instance, your parents, they're related by law. So, jury, family, team is also a collective noun. Now, usually collective nouns are singular because when I say team, it is one team, right? When I say jury, it is one jury. Family, it is one family. So, it's one group. So, usually they are singular. But when do they become plural? So, English has this exception that there are circumstances when they can become plural. When there is a focus on individual members. Focus on individual members. So, if you see here, the team is not returning to one single place. Let's say the team were going back to a hotel. Okay. So now why did I say were here? Okay. Imagine that the team were going back. Now I said were here because of another concept. I want you to tell me the concept. Okay. Think about it, churn it in your mind, and you have to tell me this once we are done with this discussion. So if let's say the team were going back to a hotel, then I can use its because एक ही hotel में जा रहे हैं वो as a group, right? So then I could say its hotel. But here they are going to homes. So different members are going to different homes. And therefore the focus is clearly on individual members. And I cannot use these two. Okay, they apostrophe re is simply a contraction of they are. Okay, it's simply a contraction of that. So they are to nahi chahiye mujhe. I need a possessive pronoun here. So that's why there. Their. Good. Most of you said D. All right. So I want you to tell me this. You can think about it, think this over. Imagine that the team were going back to its hotel. Okay, why am I using were here when I'm using its here? Or if the team were going back to its hotel. If the team were going to its hotel, I would let's say I would readily agree to the duty. Let's say I am a hotel staff member, okay, and we are discussing it amongst ourselves. ये हमारे होटल में टीम रुकी हुई है और हम ये आपस में डिस्कशन कर रहे हैं कि आज कौन ड्यूटी पर आएगा, right? But the team is not coming back to the hotel. So I utter this statement as a hotel staff member. Why do you think this is? This is a hypothetical statement. अगर टीम आ रही होती ना होटल में तो मैं आ जाती, मैं तो रेडिली अग्री कर लेती कि मैं ड्यूटी करूंगी आज, राइट? दिस इज व्हाट आई वांट टू से दैट यू नो it if let's say this were happening, that means this is not happening. It's a hypothetical statement. In reality, this is not happening. So when we talk about such hypothetical statements, things that are untrue in the present, we cannot use was here, no matter how much we want, no matter whether the subject is singular. So it is a singular subject. I am using its hotel. Still, I cannot use a singular verb. Right? So hypothetical statements are an exception to the norm that a singular subject takes a singular verb. Here you have to use were. Right? Hope this makes sense to you. This is a tenses concept. It's a property of tenses. When you read the chapter on tenses, there is a chapter on mood. And there you will find these hypothetical conditionals, if then structure, right? So this is a bonus concept for you belonging to tenses. Now, let's have a look at an error spotting question. Yes, easy question. What is the error? A, B, C, D, or E? Okay, Yash says C. All right. Others, what is the error? Which part is erroneous? B, all right. Good. Some of you have identified the error and you've even given me the correction. So sometimes proper nouns are turned into common nouns. Einstein is a proper noun, yes. But when I say he is Einstein of our class, he is not literally Albert Einstein. I want to say that he is a genius. Okay. So he is the genius of our class. So I am using this proper noun as a common noun here. Okay, and common nouns do take articles before them, the, etc. So he is the Einstein of our class. Or he is an Einstein in the making. He is an Einstein in the making. Okay, what have I done? Einstein in the making. That means he is a genius in the making. वो genius बन रहा है, right? So an Einstein is also acceptable in this particular context. Here we can use the itself and not an because of the phrase of our class. We are talking about a specific, he's an Einstein belonging to a specific class, isn't it? So because of this off phrase, we can use the itself, not or an. But in general, when you turn a proper noun into a common noun, you can use the article or an before it or the article the before it, but you cannot write it without an article, right? Because you're not using the name literally. You are just using it to convey the attributes. So he is the Einstein of our class. Now it is correct after the, otherwise the error was in B. Good. All those who said B. Okay. Spot the error in this one. So here this is I mean, a more complex question because the error can be present in two parts also, right? So look at all these parts carefully. Okay, let's see what you say. Okay, all right. Okay, C, A, fine. B, okay. So I think we can agree that baggages, there is no such word as baggages. Baggage and luggage are used in a singular sense to mean all that you are carrying with yourself on a trip or wherever you're going, right? That is luggage and baggage. We never say luggages and baggages. So that much we agree on that it is two that is erroneous. So these two options are eliminated. Now I have to check 3 and 4 carefully. Okay, what do you say? Is 3 perfect, no error? Or is there some error because of multiple packets? No error in multiple because of multiple packets. Seems fine, right? So even this is eliminated. Okay. Of the same wheat breads or of the same wheat bread? Yes. What should be the answer here? Tell me. Same wheat bread or breads? It should be bread. So this is another concept, and this is the countable versus uncountable noun concept. Let's see. Okay. So, okay, my laptop is a little slow. I don't know why. Anyway, sorry, I eliminated 2 and 4 by mistake. I should have eliminated 2 and 3. B is the answer. हाँ अच्छा B क्यों है आंसर एक बार देख लेते हैं. Why it should be bread and not breads. See, you know that there are certain nouns that can be counted. Yes, the name itself actually tells me what the concept is about. However, how to apply this? See, if you can directly assign a number before a noun, then it is countable. Right? So, for instance, one phone, two phones, okay, telephone I'm talking about, right? One bag, two bags, one pillow, two pillows, right? I can very easily put a number directly before them and therefore make them plural. However, bread is not something that is, counted. What you count is a loaf. What you count is a slice. So you can't say one bread, two breads in that sense. You say one loaf of bread, that is fine. Two loaves of bread. So in that case, it is loaf and loaves that are countable. Loaf and loaves, right? So अब ये हम breads ऐसे नहीं, because it's the same. The word same indicates that I'm talking about one kind of only. So I cannot write breads here. I have to write bread. Okay, so that was the error here. Bread is an uncountable noun. Bread is weighed. Earlier bakers used to weigh bread in kg. They used to give it to you. You used to come home and then cut it into loaf and loaves. Okay, cut it into loaves. That used to happen. So bread count नहीं कर सकते हैं, bread को weigh करते हैं. ठीक है? So therefore you can't say one bread, two breads. The answer therefore is 2 and 4. And one more thing is in various restaurants, when you go to various restaurants and you look at the menu, usually there is a heading called assorted breads. Okay, and then there are a number of let's say naan, kulcha, tandoori roti, right? If it's a Punjabi menu. So why are they able to write breads? It's not that they are actually ignorant of grammar and that's why they're doing it. They are able to write breads because now they're talking about different types of bread. Okay, so roti, let's say, is different from naan. So different types of bread, or let's say parmesan oregano bread is different from garlic bread. So different types. Okay, hope this is clear, crystal clear. Baggage, and in general, when I'm talking about only one kind of, then it is bread, because bread is an uncountable noun. Okay. All right, then let's proceed to another question here. Just a second. Yeah. Let's see what you say. Again, a spot the error question. Jaldi, jaldi tell me what the answer should be. Okay. B, D, all right. D, Delhi, okay. Okay. Hmm. B and D. So Shreya, you've given me a new perspective in this. Let's see. Actually, either we should correct C or we should correct D. I forgot this while framing this question. Either I can correct C. So I should have given options here, C or D. That would be the answer here, right? If I gave you these options, which is E is no error, and let's say fifth option was A or B, then the answer here is C or D. Why? This is correct. Okay, so again, I included this phrase because of this reason only, that whenever we have it is time, then even though this says it is time, it says it uses the present tense, we use the past verb after the subject that we use after it. So it is time you did this, it is time you started studying. It is time you took it seriously. It is time you did this. So it's a standard usage. Now, because the idea is to highlight that you should have already started it. Okay, that is the idea that is highlighted through the phrase it is time. So this is not an error. The error is in C or D. Either I delete this and I say it is time he bought new jeans. It is time he bought new jeans. That is correct because jeans by its very construction is plural. So I can't say a new jeans. A is incorrect. So either I correct C, or if I do not correct C, then I need to add pair of. Absolutely correct, Shreya. So I can add pair of here, a new pair of jeans. Right? So C or D. Good. I'll revise this question. It should be C or D. Make sense to you now? I think the concept is clear to you. So see, even though we know the concept at times, this happens. So you know this, that jeans is plural by construction because we discussed trousers. But when we used it, some of you did not pay attention to this a. So in these grammar questions, read carefully. Don't speed read through them. Okay, speed reading works when you are attempting RCs, let's say, right? Or let's say in a vocabulary question also because you know or you do not know. But here you have to spot the error. So that happens when you look at it with a magnifying lens, right? Okay. So let's have a look at another question. Here the answer is C or D. Coming to this question, find the correct sentence. Yes, so hair now comes into the picture. We were discussing hair a while back. Let's see what you say. Find the correct one. Okay, B, all right. Others, D, okay. Anyone who says E, all are incorrect. C, okay. C, just asking you, I'm not saying that E is the answer. D, all right. So two each, okay. Two each for B, C, and D. I've got one E also now. Only A remains. So I'm happy that nobody said A because, as I said, hair is a mass noun. Usually, when we say hair, we refer to this entire mass on our head. Okay. So, therefore, in that sense, I cannot call this hairs. That is erroneous. Hair, in that sense, becomes uncountable, and therefore, we can't use hairs. If you think that, oh, but then this is also a hair, this is a strand of hair. ये उसका एक strand है, ठीक है, उसका एक part है, a strand of hair. And if you want to talk particularly about strands, then you should say a strand of hair or two strands of hair. So she found two strands of hair. Very unfortunate actually that she found two strands of hair swimming in her tea. That must have spoiled her tea for her, right? So she found two strands of hair swimming in her tea. Okay, that should have been the sentence. This is incorrect. B. Her hair is brown and golden. This is correct because hair being uncountable, it cannot have a plural. It has to be singular. Right? Her hair is golden and brown. And why this confusion usually happens, why it is such a popular question, right? Such a popular error, because we try to translate it from our mother tongues to English. And in a lot of languages, hair in the mother tongue is plural. राइट बाल होते हैं उसके बाल ब्राउन और गोल्डन हैं that's how we put it हैं right so that's why when we translate it from Hindi to English or some other regional language to English we tend to use the plural which we should not in English it's singular her hair is brown and golden similarly the furry animal's hair was extremely soft I love the way his hair because it's singular shines under this light. Make sense? Singular plural ka hi concept tha at the end of the day. So that's why B is the answer. Happy that some of you said B. Okay, let's go to the next question then. Another find the correct sentence question. The last question for the day. Let's see who answers the fastest. Okay, let's see, let's see. I want at least 20 responses for this one. Then I'll discuss it. Okay, A, D, all right. What else? What else? A, all right. Okay. D, okay. Okay, A, E. Okay, all right. So primarily, I think the confusion is between A and D. Okay. However, the answer here is C. So this is why I took up this question. I understand that we have a word called people, right? And you must be thinking that peoples is an error. But there are certain very limited circumstances where we can use the word peoples. When? When we are talking about different tribes, ethnicities, particularly when we want to distinguish one tribe from another tribe within the same region, right? In that sense, we can use peoples. So you must have seen this usage, but probably you may not have paid attention to it. The Aboriginal peoples, the Native American peoples, because I'm talking about a specific tribe or ethnicity here. So this is more appropriate, right? And the other concept here was that of practice versus practice. Common confusable plus a noun verb confusion this is. Now, see, in American English, they are pretty chilled out about it. They say that we use practice as a noun also, we use it as a verb also. But British English is not so chilled out. British English says that CE is a noun, but when you want to use it as a verb, put SE, right? Put SE. Just like advice, advise. Advice, advise. So now we needed a verb here and not a noun, and therefore C is going to be the answer. Right. So this is again, peoples is a limited usage. Remember that. Otherwise, in general, it is people. Okay. You've been using it right. And practice SE. Okay. And not CE. So, Shruti, we have a live class for English at 12 p.m. on most of the days. Okay. So, just watch out for the notifications. You can just watch out uh, for the next upcoming sessions, and there you will find an English session if it is there. Right. So, yes, this is the time dedicated to English. All right, then, this was from my side for today. I hope you learned some concepts. I hope you learned how to spot number errors, collective noun errors, possessive case errors, countable, uncountable noun errors, and how we can sometimes confuse a noun for a verb, how we can sometimes confuse a common noun for a proper noun. Sometimes we can even confuse a noun for an adjective. For instance, happy is an adjective, happiness is a noun, right? There is a difference. So sometimes students confuse these two as well. So you should learn how to spot and correct these errors, right? Welcome, guys. Welcome. I hope you learned something from this session and you will apply it in your exam. That's the most important part, right? In case you want to study grammar with us in detail and you're planning CAT 2023, then you should join this batch that is available right now. Okay, here we teach you vocabulary, grammar, verbal logic, and of course, RC passages in a lot of detail, right? And there are a lot of features available you can read for yourself. The link for this batch is in the description box. Also, in order to make these batches accessible for you, we have scholarships based on a scholarship test. The next one is going to happen on the 4th, right, at 7 p.m. You have to register for it in advance, so register for it right now and do take it, right? You can get up to a 90% scholarship. And in case you are confused about what your strategy should be going forward, now that you have a limited number of months for CAT, then you should attend this workshop on the 7th at 7 p.m. Right? Again, you have to register for it in advance because there are limited seats available. Link will be there in the description box. Right. So this is it from my side for today. Great. I'm happy that you learned a lot. Welcome, welcome. And do subscribe to the channel in case you haven't. Do like the session in case you haven't. And download our app also. There also, if you are targeting CAT 23 especially, then there are a lot of informative sessions available for you on the app. Right? I'll see you next. Bye-bye. See you later.